guys, I'm Vanessa and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you my June TBR. Now June, I have a couple of set plans for me. I've been talking about this before, but I have been in such a romance mood, historical romance mood over the past months, and why I didn't participate in historical romance readathon in May. I mean, I should have done that, but I was doing my own project of reading the Harlequin medical books at the time, so I didn't have time to actually sit down and read a lot of historical romances at the same time. And I'm also worried about not being able to read like the amount of books that I want, so I wanted to dedicate 2 weeks of June to read historical romances, and I have picked out 2 physical books, and I have already picked out 2 audios, but I want your help in deciding what other books to add to my TBR for the month, because I am uncertain about where to go next. I have read a lot of Julia Quinn and Lisa Kleypas. Lisa Kleypas probably my favorite of those 2, even though I have read more Julia Quinn books. Lisa Kleypas books tends to get higher ratings for me in general. But I've also read a couple of other historical romances, but none that really, I mean, Courtney Milan was one of them. But I really would like to try out some of the more popular ones, but also some of the not so popular ones. So I'm unsure about the other books, whether you would, which ones you would recommend I should get to next, and which ones you would like to hear me talk about, because you've heard some things and would like to see my opinion about it or whatever. So let's start out by talking about the books that I'm definitely going to be reading. So the first 2 I'm definitely going to be reading are my physical books that's lined up for me. The first one is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. I forgot what this series is called, but I think it's just called, maybe it's just called Mackenzies and McBrides or something. I'm unsure of what the series title is called, but I'll definitely find out more about that as it comes. But I know that this series is very, very popular, and I've always wanted to read them, and then I got this book for really cheap at awesomebooks.com, so I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to be reading in June for sure. The other physical book I have online for me is this is an author I've already read one book by, but I don't have a lot of physical books, historical romances. So I decided to go with The Flapper's Baby Scandal by Lorrett Robinson. This is the second book in the Sisters of the Roaring Twenties. This is a Harlequin romance, historical romance. This is a Milton Boone edition, but I don't think it matters a lot because I think the cover is the same for the American Harlequin. So very excited to try and get back to this series and following another of the sisters, and we'll definitely love to see what ends up happening with her. So those are the physical books that I'm definitely going to be reading. Then we have the 2 audiobooks that I've pre-selected, and it's just because they are such staples in the historical romance genre. I need to read them. I mean, some of the others are as well, but this one, the first one is Desperate Duchess by Eloisa James. I know that Eloisa James just came out with How to Be a Wallflower or something like that. And I thought about reading that one, but decided to go with this one because I think it's her, the series that got her on the map of historical romances. So I decided to start out with that one, and then I would always get around to the other one later. I think I forgot what the series title is for this one, but yeah. And the other one I definitely want to read is The Duchess Deal, or The Duchess Deal? How do you actually pronounce it? Duchess Deal, maybe? By Tessa Dare. Tessa Dare is like one of the most beloved historical romance authors out there, and I think one of the reasons why is that she has a lot of humor in her books, and I hear people talk a lot about the humor she adds to the books, and so I'm very excited to read this one and getting to know her, and then I'm gonna go and read like all the things that I can get my hands on with her if I enjoy it. So very excited about that. Now for help, like I need 2 to 3 more audios depending on how fast I get through them. I'm deciding to go through them over 2 weeks, so maybe I'll get through 2 audios a week, maybe 3 if I'm good. So I think having 5 historical romance audios will be good. So the books that you can try and help me with are the following. First up, we have How to Forget a Duke by Vivienne Lorrett. I know that Vivienne Lorrett is also pretty popular. historical romance author, but I haven't read anything, obviously. And we have My Fake Rake by Eva Leigh. I also have put on To Taste Temptation by Elizabeth Hoyt. I hear a lot of talk about the Maiden Lane series and how some people absolutely despises that series and some people actually think it's really good. So it's very popular, but I don't have access to that, so I have Taste to Temptation instead, and will try her out in that way if it comes to that. And then we have 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake by Sarah MacLean. We have Silk is for Seduction by Loretta Chase, Discouraging the Duke by Alexa Aston, and Dare to be a Duchess by Saphna Bhog. This is recently added because I heard Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings talk about this book, and it sounded like it was like Anthony and Kate from the Bridgerton season 2 series, like TV series, if that was made into a romance novel instead, because it follows the, like, it was very reminding her of that. So I'm definitely very intrigued about that, because I really enjoyed season 2. And then A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman, that's the last one. So if you can help me out by choosing then 4 of them, that would be great. So just let me know which ones you think I would like, or which ones you'd like to hear about, which ones are your favorites if you've read them. And that way, hopefully, I will try and figure out what other book to read for this. So that was the historical romance part of my TBR. We also have, I don't know if you've seen the video, but I recently did a video about what was on my Kindle, the old books on that, and I decided to go with 3 books that I wanted to add to my June TBR. If you haven't watched that video and you want to know about it before being spoiled by this, you can see I'll be a link to it up here. But the 3 books that I chose for this are as follows: Stone Cold by Cheryl Douglas. This is the first book in the City Moguls series, Music City Moguls maybe. Then we have Awakened by Brenda K. Davis. This is a paranormal romance, and it's the beginning of the Vampire Awakening series. Then we have Hairspray and Homicide by Cindy Bell. This is the first book. I forgot the series title of this one, but it is a cozy mystery series. Other than that, of my physical TBR of things, like my own reading, I have Sword of Darkness by McKinley McGregor on here. This is the next book in Shannon and mine's buddy read of the Dark Hunterverse, and this is a different author than usual, because usually obviously Sherilyn Kenyon, but apparently these 2 books from the Arthurian legends was written by another, but it's set in this world and has the same sort of magical system to it, I think. So I'm very excited about it. It says something like, for countless centuries Kerrigan has lived alone in the shadows. Now Siren's courage has forced him into the light that will bring either salvation to both of them or death. Ooh. I'm very excited about this. I hope that it's done really well, because I love Arthurian legends, so yay for that. So that is my set TBR books. I also have 2 wheels running to continue with the sort of random TBR kind of thing. So my audios for the remainder of the month, from like after I've done the 2 weeks, I have another 2 weeks, I guess. I haven't actually looked at how the month is falling, but I am going to be reading from some books I have here at home that I'll listen to, or from my work wheel, which is everything else. So the books I have on my wheel for home, I haven't really changed it much, so I've just removed those that I've already read. First off, I have The Bone Witch by Rinchi Pecco. I really hope this will get picked, but we'll see what happens. Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen, the first book in the Queen of the Tearling trilogy. Lord of the Fading Lands by C.L. Wilson, the first book in a fantasy romance series. Temeraire by Naomi Novik. This is a fantasy set in the Napoleonic Wars with dragons. Blodets Sti by Tobias Stenbæk Bro. This is translated into English, The Bloody Path, and this is a Danish fantasy, the second book in a trilogy of 4-book-long series. I'm not sure, I forgot how long it's supposed to be. Cupcakes at Carrington's by Alexander Brown. This is probably a chick-lit kind of book. And A World Without Heroes by, no, A World Without Princes by Suman Chanani, but the second book in the School for Good and Evil series. And finally we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is obviously a classic, so if that gets picked out, I will read that. That is the one of the random audio wheels. Then the other audio wheel of randomness I have is this one. It has 10 books on it, so that's not as much as on the last one, but it's pretty good because I'm very excited about all of them. So first up we have A Pinch of Magic. I forgot to write down the author's name, but it's a middle grade fantasy. Very pretty cover. The Best Thing by Mariana Zapata. This is, I have this on Audible, and I'm very looking forward to moving on in my Mariana Zapata TBR. Although I've seen that some people, they don't enjoy this one as much as they've enjoyed other books by her, so I'm a little bit hesitant about it, but I really want to read all of her books, so very eager to read on that. Then we have Judgment in Death by J.D. Robb. This is book 11 in the In Death series, and I definitely want to continue with that after reading The Witness in Death last year. So, and then we have Finlay Donovan is Killing It. We have The Witch's Diary, which I also didn't put down an author name, but you see the cover. We have Eris Apparently, which is, it sounds to me like it's a little bit like Crazy Rich Asians, but it's set in China with someone suddenly becoming the like an heir, like if China still had like royalty kind of thing. Then we have A Brooklynaire by Serena Bowen. This is apparently sports romance kind of thing, very steamy one of them, and I'm actually pretty eager to check this out because I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit, but we'll see. Then we have The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. This I definitely want to read because it's been very hyped in a lot of communities, but so I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that one. And then finally we have Dating.Dill, and I forgot to write down the author's name, but I know this is a fake dating romance, so I'm very eager to read it as well. So those are my books for the random category in the second part of the month. Let me know in the comments down below what you're planning on doing in June. Definitely leave me comments in the historical romance department. I would really like some help in choosing what books to read next. And yeah, what are you planning on? Are you taking any readathons, any exciting events in June? Let me know about that in the comments down below, and I would really like to know that. So yeah, this was everything I had for you today. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.